The Principal Doctrines of Epicurus, Maxims 1 to 20. 1. What is blessed and indestructible has no troubles itself, nor does it give trouble to anyone else, so that it is not affected by feelings of anger or gratitude, for all such things are a sign of weakness. 2. Death is nothing to us, for what has been dissolved has no sense experience, and what has no sense experience is nothing to us. 3. The removal of all feeling of pain is the limit of the magnitude of pleasures. Wherever a pleasurable feeling is present, for as long as it is present, there is neither a feeling of pain nor a feeling of distress, nor both together. 4. The feeling of pain does not linger continuously in the flesh, rather the sharpest is present for the shortest time, while what merely exceeds the feeling of pleasure in the flesh lasts only a few days. And diseases which last a long time involve feelings of pleasure which exceed feelings of pain. 5. It is impossible to live pleasantly without living prudently, honourably and justly, and impossible to live prudently, honourably and justly without living pleasantly, and whoever lacks this cannot live pleasantly. 6. The natural good of public office and kingship is for the sake of getting confidence from other men, at least from those from whom one is able to provide this. 7. Some men want to become famous and respected, believing that this is the way to acquire security against other men. Thus, if the life of such men is secure, they acquire the natural good, but if it is not secure, they do not have that for the sake of which they strove from the beginning according to what is naturally congenial. 8. No pleasure is a bad thing in itself, but the things which produce certain pleasures bring troubles many times greater than the pleasures. 9. If every pleasure were condensed and were present, both in time and in the whole compound, body and soul, or in the most important parts of our nature, then pleasures would never differ from one another. 10. If the things which produce the pleasures of profligate men dissolved the intellect's fears about the phenomena of the heavens and about death and pains, and, moreover, if they taught us the limit of our desires, then we would not have reason to criticise them, since they would be filled with pleasures from every source, and would contain no feeling of pain or distress from any source, and that is what is bad. 11. If our suspicions about heavenly phenomena and about death did not trouble us at all and were never anything to us, and, moreover, if not knowing the limits of pains and desires did not trouble us, then we would have no need of natural science. 12. It is impossible for someone ignorant about the nature of the universe, but still suspicious about the subjects of the myths, to dissolve his feelings of fear about most important matters. So it's impossible to receive unmixed pleasures without knowing natural science. 13. It is useless to obtain security from other men while the things above and below the earth and, generally, the things in the unbounded remain as objects of suspicion. 14. The purest security is that which comes from a quiet life and withdrawal from the many, although a certain degree of security from other men does come by means of the power to repel attacks and by means of prosperity. 15. Natural wealth is both limited and easy to acquire, but wealth as defined by groundless opinion extends without limit. 16. Chance has a small impact on the wise man, while reasoning has arranged for, is arranging for, and will arrange for the greatest and most important matters throughout the whole of his life. 17. The just life is most free from disturbance, but the unjust life is full of the greatest disturbance. 18. As soon as the feeling of pain produced by want is removed, pleasure in the flesh will not increase, but is only varied. But the limit of mental pleasures is produced by a reasoning out of these very pleasures of the flesh, and of the things related to these, which used to cause the greatest fears in the intellect. 19. Unlimited time and limited time contain equal amounts of pleasure if one measures its limits by reasoning. 20. The flesh took the limits of pleasure to be unlimited, and only an unlimited time would have provided it. But the intellect, reasoning out the goal and limit of the flesh and dissolving the fears of eternity, provided us with the perfect way of life, and had no further need of unlimited time. But the intellect did not flee pleasure, and even when circumstances caused an exit from life, it did not die as though it were lacking any aspect of the best life.